Hey y'all, I have another Saturday morning make for everyone, and I am so excited to share this one. I make these every year. They are so fun to make, and there's no wrong way to make them. And you can add any embellishment or any little special touch that you want to with these angels. And you just customize them, and the more you make them, the more ways you find to change them up and do fun things with them. They're just truly addictive to make. So I have them laying down just so y'all can see them better in filming. But as you can see, they stand up because they are actually made on a little tree topper cone. But I also have their silk ribbon on the back so they can be an ornament as well. So that's what we're going to make. And I love these because these are just classic Victorian vintage Christmas to me. These just remind me of the sort of angels my grandmother had when I was growing up. So this is what we're going to make. I'm going to slide these over just a little bit so we've got some room. Let's see. So we'll talk about everything that goes into making these. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to get are these little paper mache cones. And when they say paper mache, they're really just kind of a thin cardboard. So if you don't want to buy these, you can make them yourself just out of some thick cardstock, roll up a cone. But I buy these, I think they're a pack of 8 at Hobby Lobby on sale for like $1.50. So they're not expensive, but they're the perfect little size. So that's what we start with, is this cone. Now, since the colors that I'm using for their skirts are lighter colored, I prefer to paint the brown. If you're using a darker color skirt or a natural color paper that won't show, then you can skip that step. But I always go ahead and just use some white paint and paint these white. And that's going to be our starting point. Okay. So let's also talk about, okay, so we've got this, so that's our starting point of our base for how she's made. Okay, so keep that in mind. So for the faces, I usually go ahead and make up quite a few little faces at a time. And these are the little faces, and they're just in round circles. So any round circle die you have will do. And if you don't have a round circle die, just cut you out a round shape. And these will be the faces. Okay, so that starts our face. Then I will show you the one I use. This is a Sizzix Thinlits. It's actually a space set, but I love that it has the heads and the hairs. If you don't want to make the 3-dimensional hair, you can very much just use these and make your hair out of paper. But this is the set I use by Sizzix to cut these. Now, for her sweet little face, I use the Peachy stamps, and I use the PK 3000 Jill's Favorite stamp set. And this one has just the most perfect little angel face in it. It is this one right here. And it just looks like the most heavenly, sweet little face with her singing with the eyelashes. And you can tell that's one of my most used. So that is the stamp for her face. So that gives us her head and her face. I always take a little black pen and go over the eyelashes so they'll show as black, because I stamp the face. Y'all know I like to use the Vintage Photo brown because it's easier to not be a harsh color. So I Peachy Keen stamped her face in brown. Then just take a little skinny black pen, do her eyelashes. Then for her rosy cheeks, there's several ways. If you have a colored pencil, you can do a colored pencil. I prefer watercolor. I just do a little pink watercolor with a brush and watercolor her rosy cheeks. Then for her mouth, I use a little Copic marker. Color her mouth like she's open and singing. Okay. So this gets us to her face. All right. See, I want to make sure I'm not too shadowy for you guys. Let's maybe move this just a little bit. Have a little bit less shadow. Okay, so that fits her face. And I'm going to push this over here to the side for a few minutes. Let's go back to how the skirts are made. If y'all can't already tell and hadn't already figured it out, I use cupcake liners. They make the best little angel skirts. Whatever color cupcake liners you have, they come in so many colors now. You can get a multi-pack. I have a multi-pack and then I just have a pack of white ones. So you're going to want to buy a pack of cupcake liners. Let's pull this over here. And really, there's no wrong way to do this. And do that. Let's see. I cut a slit in it. And just kind of eyeball it. And cut the center out of the cupcake liner. Okay. Cut that out. And this part's up to you. And I tried to do each one a little bit differently so you could see there's no wrong way. She has 3 layers onto her skirt. She has 2 and she has 4. You can have as many or as few as you want. There's absolutely no wrong way to do this. So let's get some glue. And for this, I'm just using Eileen's Tacky Glue. There are parts of this that sometimes I hot glue. And then I also like to use the Eileen's Tacky Glue. So we're going to get some glue out. Then you're going to want to take your cone. And y'all know I just use this tool for everything. It's the die tool, but I use it for glue and everything else. So you're going to just do some glue all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy because it's not going to show. You just don't want to go all the way down because you see how you want your skirt to kind of poke up some. So just do like a good little border around, all the way around. Okay. Do that. And then on these cones, there's a seam side. So you're going to want that to be your back. So I usually just start at the back. And you want your skirt to be right at the bottom so that as you go around, just kind of work it around. It covers the bottom of your cone. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of work it around. Cover the bottom of the cone, and I just take my finger and kind of press it down to get those pleats in the glue. You're going to have a little bit of extra left over depending on the size of your cupcake liner. And I usually just try to cut it on a fold. Okay, so don't throw these away. Don't throw the little leftovers away because we're going to use those for something else in a second. Okay, and then just add a little bit of glue to the edge because you're going to want her seam closed up to her skirt. Mash it down. Okay, so that's your first layer. Okay, so let's do another one. Change scissors. You're going to cut a little seam till you cut the seam of the cupcake liner till you get to the center. You're just going to cut the center out. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it doesn't show when your angel's finished. You're going to want to do the same thing. Just gonna want to eyeball. And this is up to you as to how high or how low you want your layers. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue on the white part. Just go all the way around. Add a little bit more glue. And I do like using the tacky glue on this part versus a hot glue gun because it gives you a little bit more time to work with it. Y'all know the hot glue gun's pretty instantaneous. So you're gonna start on the back and you just decide how high up you want that layer to go. Just press it into that glue. Work it around. All the way back around to the back. And you want to keep it so your seams line up at the back because you don't want a bunch of different seam lines. Okay. Then you're just going to trim this off the edge. And hold on to the little piece that's left because we're going to use that. Okay. Go back. And you're going to want to close up the seam of her gown. Some glue. Just press it down just a little. And y'all are seeing why you don't want to get your glue between each layer because you want it to look like her gown is actually pleated. Okay, so we're going to cut this one on another seam and then just fussy cut out this inside. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to show. You just fussy cut that part out. I'm going to add a little bit more glue. This top. So as you start to work with this, if you kind of picture on here what's her skirt and what's kind of more the bodice part, you can start to envision how you want your layers to be and where you want it to stop at. Work that on. Glue, as you can see, this is not precise at all. Okay. Find your seam again at the back. And start the next layer. Back. Work it around. All the way around. Okay, just keep working it around. Just tap it in just a little. The top. until you get all the way around to the back again. Okay. We're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to trim it. Okay, let's see. Lines up about there. Trim it on the seam. Hold on to your little piece. I may have to get a little bit more glue, y'all. Let's see. Let's get some more glue out. I do not use glue conservatively at all. So let's add a little more glue. Okay. Gonna peel this up just a little. Put some glue, run it along the edge of that seam of her skirt. Do a little bit more right there too. Okay. And then just press it down. All right. So y'all can see how forgiving these cupcake liners are in the pleats. Just tap it in so it's all glued. Get some of the extra glue off. All right. So let's see. Should we do 3 or should we do 4? I may do one more to go around. So let's cut one more. And any sort of cupcake liners will work. You can use the full cupcake liners. You can use ones that are already patterned for Christmas. I just love these really soft, solid pastels. To me, they give you that vintage Christmas feel. Okay, we'll cut our circle out. Right? You're going to, I'm going to need to find my back again. Let me find the seam. Let's see. Don't want to lose my seam. Okay, it's right here. So I'm going to add a little more glue around my edge on the white, all the way around. And y'all, I promise there is no wrong way to do this, because when you add on your finishing touches, you can cover up any boo-boo you have on this. That is why I love this particular project, because you cannot mess it up. Okay, except for when I keep on turning it and losing where my seam is. Okay, there's my seam for the back. All right, so let's do our skirt again. Press it on. And if you'll see as you do your layers, this is up to you. You don't have to do your layers uniform, but just kind of eyeball it. And I'm trying to make these so that they are in pretty close to being the same distance of the ruffles all the way around. Okay. Tap that on. You're going to want to cut that off. And then we're going to close our seam. A little more glue. Put it along that edge. This. And just tap it down. Okay. So that gives us her skirt of her gown. Now you can go all the way to the top with these and just do a bunch of layers. That's up to you. It's up to you as to how you want to cover this top part. Again, there's no wrong way, because if you'll see how the others are done, there's not much of the top part showing by the time you're finished. So really what's up here is up to you. This is the inside of one of the cupcake liners, so I may just use this. Let's see. Okay, let me just go ahead. Let's put the glue all over what's left up here. Okay, put all the glue on. I told y'all I used a lot of glue. I'm sure less is more, but I guess I just go with the more is more on this. All right, so find your back. So here's my back where my seam is. So come around to the front, just put the center on that we used from one of our cupcake liners and roll it around. Add a little more glue up here. Pull it this way. You'll see it's not perfect, but this part's not going to show. So don't get too worried about making that a perfect cover. Just trim off the extra. Okay. I hated geometry in school, so figuring out exactly the shape that I need to cover this is not my strong point. So I'm just winging it. So, okay. So you see we have this covered. We've got our whole cone covered now. Okay. So this part is completely up to you as to how you want to finish this part. And I just use whatever little snippets of fabric or ribbons I have. So I have this ribbon, and this is like a frayed, let's see if it's like a frayed velvet feel. It's a velvet trim with fray. So let's cut a little piece of this, because this is going to help make the top of her angel gown. Right. Let's get a little bit more glue. And as I said, you can use a hot glue gun, but I like using the Eileen's glue. It doesn't set up as fast, and it gives you a little bit of extra time to work with this so you can get things to fit better on the cone. So you can push things and wiggle it around without tearing it, because if you try to move these cupcake liners, after you put them on with hot glue, the cupcake liners are going to tear. So I use the Eileen's glue. Okay, so gonna take some more glue, and you don't have to go all the way to the top this time. Just go about 2/3 of the way up. Put some more glue on this layer. Okay, and take your ribbon. Let's find my back again. So I'm going to start here, and I want, whatever you do here, you're going to want to bring it down just a little bit so it covers this seam for the top of the cupcake liner. Just bring it around till you get to the back, and just mash it into that glue. Okay. Just going to mash it into that glue so it'll set up. If you need to trim any off the back, you can trim some off the back. Your back doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered up. It's going to be covered up with the wings when it's done. So this part doesn't have to be like a finished edge or something you're going to see. Okay, so we've got that. Now, this is where we're going to use the little circle die with our little peachy keen face. And get your back. And this little bit you left up at the top, add some more glue just to one side. Okay? just to one side. Add some glue. Come down over that last edge a little. Right? You're going to take her head and you're going to press her on. And you'll see on the back, leave just a little bit. You don't want the cone to go all the way to the top. Leave just a little bit on the back. And that gives you your angel face on there. Just kind of press it on a little. Okay. And that's the back. And again, don't worry about all this because this is not going to show. That gives you her face. Now, sometimes I do more than one layer over the ribbons. As you can see in some of these, they've got several layers. This part is totally up to you as to how fancy or plain you want to make her. There's absolutely no wrong way. Let's see. I don't know if I want the lace. Let's see what else I have. I have this that just kind of has a little bit of everything on here. Let's cut a little piece of this white. Okay. Let me do another layer around her. Okay, you see that? I left the little pom-poms. And just play with it and figure out where you want it to go. There's no wrong place for it to go. Actually, may like it down a little bit more than up. So let me cut a piece that's a little bit longer. Okay, let's see. Let's go with here. Yeah, I think I like it down a little. So I'm going to add some glue over this. Just go all the way around with the glue. Okay, just go around all the way back to your back. So we can add that next layer of trim. Okay. I'm going to start at the back, put this layer on, and just work it around, all the way around from the back to the front. Okay, tap that in, trim off the little bit of extra. Okay, gonna add a little bit more to close the seam on the back like we did with the skirts. Press that in. So you can see how the back starts to be covered up. So that's why I was saying don't worry too much about what's going on the back, because it really will not be seen when it's done. Now this part is optional. This is up to you, but it's a little touch that I like. I have these, let's see, where's one at? I have these pipe cleaners, and they're a natural, very soft, fuzzy pipe cleaner. And what I like to do is I like to run a piece around under the neck. It kind of makes it look like there's a piece of fur, like she's fur edged. So just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Cut it, some scissors. You can use your finger or whatever to kind of help shape it, get it round. I think it's a little easier to have a little bit of a shape going before you put it around her. Take your glue, run it along the inside edge of the pipe cleaner. Okay. You're going to want to open it up and slide it right around her neck. Okay. and just press it closed. You don't have to do this part. I just like it. It kind of gives it a little more of that vintage old feel. I love how the natural pipe cleaner looks. Okay, so you're going to do that. Now, the hair. So y'all know, if y'all watched any of my other YouTube videos, I love this snow. It's actually snow that you can get at Hobby Lobby. They have it in a great big bag at Christmas time. And I use it for snow in a lot of creations, but I also think it makes perfect angel hair. And that's what her hair is made out of. That's what all of their hairs are made out of. So I just keep it in a little Ziploc bag. Pull you off some. Just get you a good little stash of it going. Kind of pull some off. You can see how some of it has the little curly cues in it. See, we've got that. And let's see. Just going to kind of want to work it together. This is something else that there's absolutely no wrong way to do this, because there's certainly not a right way to do this, because you're using snow and making it into hair. So just kind of play with it till you get a little bit of a ball going. You're going to take your glue again, and I would use the tacky glue for this, even if you are using a hot glue gun. You're going to want to be able to press this snow down, and you can't really do that as well with a hot glue gun. So just kind of take some of your glue and work it around her face, remembering wherever you put the glue, the snow hair is going to stick to it. So bring it all the way around, down. You want it to frame her face. And then on the back, put it on the tip of your cone, because you're going to want her hair to cover the cone. You're going to want to put it all over the back of your circle. Okay, put it all over the back, all over this part of the cone. And then I usually just kind of hit it around, because you want it to actually stick to the edge too. Okay. Now this is kind of like making sausage. It's not a pretty thing to watch, but you just have to know that when you're done, it looks really, really cute. So you just take that wad of snow hair and you press it on. You press it into that glue. Okay. You just press it around and you work with it as you press it. Okay. I didn't get quite enough, so I'm going to add a little more in. Just keep pressing it into the glue. Again, you can't mess this up, because if the shape gets away from you, you can just take some scissors and trim it. Just keep pressing it on until you get kind of a shape that you like. And you see how it covers up everything on the back. And so it makes that tip of your cone into her head. Okay. I'm going to add some glue into this so I can get some of the little ringlets to lay down. Put some glue there. Glue it down. Just kind of press it. Okay. And it is a little messy. The glue gets on your fingers doing this, but it's no big deal. Just kind of press it and shape it until you get what you like. And no two are ever going to look alike, but I think that's perfect, because no two people look alike and no two angels look alike. So just kind of press it. So you've got her hair. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more glue down here so I can pull her hair around to kind of frame her face. Okay. All right. There we go. So that gives us our angel and her hair all the way around to the back. Okay. You can see these. None of their hair is exactly the same. Okay. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to make her arms. And I have, let's see, where's my bag of pipe cleaners? I have these pipe cleaners. They are my favorite. I order them from Joann's. We don't have a store close by, but I order them online. You get 25 dyeable cotton stems. They're just a very soft, natural pipe cleaner. They don't feel like the regular pipe cleaners you get. They're just very, very soft. But they also have that kind of vintage, old look naturally, and I use them all the time. Got glue all over my hands now. So this is what we're going to make our arms out of. So you just eyeball it, y'all. So just kind of go around with the pipe cleaner, bend it around. I'm going to say about right there. Just take some scissors, clip your pipe cleaner. And again, you cannot mess this up because you can bend and cut the pipe cleaner down if you need to. So just kind of make a little bit of a U shape with it. Sorry, y'all, I've got glue all over my fingers now. So you're going to have a little bit of a U shape. Just kind of slide it around so you can see. That's way too long. So I'm going to trim these down just a little bit. Okay, trim these down. Okay, now you're gonna take and bend it around because you want it to look like your hands. So just bend that around. Okay. You can test it and see if that's about how you want it. And that's good. I might shorten her hands just a little. Okay. So take your glue and run it along in the inside. Not as far up as where her hands go, but just the inside of this part that you want to glue to the sides of your angel. Okay, so run that around. You're just going to slide it right around. And you have her hands. Okay, and you see how you just put it around her body where you made the U. Okay, now, y'all remember the extra pieces of the cupcake liner that we cut off that I told y'all to save? You're going to want to take these, and these make the perfect little bell sleeves for your angels. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut 2 of these, the same width, or length, sorry. Okay. So 2 of these the same length. And take one side and just put some glue on it. And press that edge together to make the seam. Okay. So that gives you one sleeve. Take your other one and trim off this little piece and do the same thing. Just put you some glue right along the edge so you can make the seam of our bell sleeve. press it together. Just line up your edges. It doesn't have to be exact on the back because this part's not going to show either. Okay, so you're going to leave the opening in the back, and then you have our perfect bell sleeve in the front. Okay, so take your glue and put it on the side. Y'all, let me clean this. This looks terrible. I've got snow hair everywhere. So let me clean my little tool. I'm going to get a little bit more glue going. My Eileen's glue, I think, is getting down to the bottom. Okay, let's see. I'll let that run down a second, and then I'll squeeze some more out. I'll leave it upside down for just a second. Okay, so I'm going to get some more glue, and just on the outside, I'm going to do a little glue, not going quite all the way up to where her hand is. Okay. Just a little bit over here. Okay, so take your little bell sleeve you just made and slide it right over and just tap it down. So you just want to tap it just a little bit till it gets to that glue and stops. Take the other one, slide it over, and just tap it down. Okay, and you have her sleeves. Okay, so that is the majority of the angel in her hair, in her face, in her dress, and her body. So the rest of it is just kind of finishing touches. So I'm going to show you the pieces that go into the rest of her. Okay, I'm going to put her right here. So y'all know I love this die. It is the Angel Wings die by Sizzix, part of this Tim Holtz line. And this is the die we use for her wings. So let me show you what I used. Move these pieces. So I went to the thrift store, and I have an old hymnal from the thrift store, and I just tore a page out of it, and you run these through your die, okay, and that will give you your angel wings, okay. So this makes these wings. And then I take a little bit of the, not the vintage photo because it's a little too dark. I use a little bit of the tea dye and I run around the edges and distress it just a little to give it that aged look. Okay, and you see it has the little center. Now usually at this point I do hot glue because you're not really needing like strength of anything on the back. So you will put her wings on. Before we do that though, let's talk about the halo. Okay, so the halos are made out of pipe cleaners also, and you can use whatever color you love. All of these are her halos, and I will show you my way of doing it. I don't know if this is the right way, and some of y'all probably have more fabulous ways of doing it, but this is how I make the halo. I take a little bottle and I run it around the bottle, twist it at the back, bend it down, okay, slide it off. Hold on, y'all. Let me get some more of this glue off my fingers. Okay, so slide it off. I'm going to clip that part off. And you're just going to clip this part however long you want the back of it to be. So that's how you make the halos. Very simple. So usually the halo, I do hot glue, okay? So show y'all how to make a gold one. But I think since all these others are silver, I'm going to put a silver one on her. And since I'm filming, I don't have my hot glue gun going, so I'm going to use some eyelines for this part. But like I said, normally I would hot glue the back, just because this part will set up very quickly with the hot glue gun. But you don't have to. So just take this, put a little bit on just the bottom part of the halo. On the back, just put it on there. And y'all, I have glue all over my fingers, so everything's sticking. Okay, so you just put that on and turn it around. And you get the halo at whatever height you want. Just tap it on, okay? Then, this little fuzzy part back here, from where we made her arms, put a little bit of glue on this. I'm using the eyelines, but usually I use the hot glue gun for this part. And you put the wings right over top of that fuzzy part, right where the halo stem comes and meets the arms. Okay? You turn her around, and y'all, there is your angel. How fun is that? And they're so sweet. I love to make these as little gifts to hang on gift bags and just little treat sacks at Christmas. Okay, so that's that. Then let's see what else we added to these. Now, I took some stickles and I squirted it out on a little index card. So let's do that. Squirt it a little out. Take your finger, get it on your finger, and just rub it, okay, on that wing, because I wanted silver to match the halo on the wing, okay? Now, usually what I do is I wait for this to sit up overnight just so there's no wet glue anywhere left, but you don't have to. You can go ahead and do it now. And this is the fun part. This is the part to me that makes her so vintage looking and old. Okay, so she's an old brush. I use Mod Podge. This is the matte, but you can use whatever Mod Podge that you like. You can use a satin. It just depends on how much gloss you want on your finished product. So I use the Mod Podge and a brush. Stick your fingers in her little tree cone. And anywhere you want your glitter to be, just kind of hit it with a brush. You don't want to saturate it, but you just want to hit it anywhere you want your glitter to be. And I do want glitter up here, even on the fabric part. I don't glitter her face. You could. And I don't glitter the hair, but you could. Or you could stop without the glitter. But I just go all the way around with the Mod Podge. Again, nothing has to be precise. Put some on her wings. On her hands. Go around. Get some in here. Keep working our way around. Do the back. Get it all the way down. Just because remember, wherever you put it is where your glitter's going to stick. Okay. Go all the way around. And get the side of her sleeves. And if you miss a spot, no big deal. You can always wait for it to dry and then add some more after you glitter it. So let's see. Keep going around. Okay. So I have the Mod Podge, sorry. I'm one of those people that always mispronounce it. Okay. And I have my tray of glitter. Okay. So I usually just hold it. Now, I've talked about my glitter favorites before in other videos, but I'm going to show y'all again. I prefer the Ranger Distressed Rock Candy because, as you can see, it is truly clear. There's no Prismacolor showing in it. A lot of the glitter that says it's clear, when the light catches it, you can see blues and pinks in it, but this one has no spectrum colors in it. So this is my favorite glitter. So I'm going to add a little bit more, tap it down. And I keep a wooden spoon in my glitter tray because the wooden spoon does not have static and the glitter doesn't stick to it. So, just going to hold her, and you're going to sprinkle the glitter over her, just as if you were doing snow outside. You just sprinkle the glitter all over her. Anywhere that Mod Podge is, it's going to stick. And the other thing I like about putting the glitter on it with the Mod Podge, it kind of stiffens your cupcake liners a little bit. So that by the time you're done, you can't ever tell that they were actually cupcake liners. I'm going to get a little more out. Get a couple more scoops in. Make it a little bit easier to go around. Okay. So you just keep going around, putting that glitter on her all the way around. Okay. Let's keep going. Y'all, this just makes you feel like a 5-year-old all over again, getting to play with glitter and glue. And there's nobody to fuss at you about leaving glitter tracks everywhere. So, do some on the back. Tap the glitter down a little bit. Just keep working your glitter around over that Mod Podge till you get her covered. And y'all, can y'all see how pretty this is? It just looks like vintage Christmas. Just keep working her around. Okay. Gonna put just a little more right there. Okay, look at that, y'all. She's so sweet. Look at her gown. Look at all the sparkly snow. And put a little scoop up here on her sleeve. And like I said, if once she dries, she doesn't have enough glitter for you, you can always just add another layer of Mod Podge and re-glitter. Okay, but that is where we are with her. Okay, I'm gonna leave her there for just a second. Let me put my glitter up. Dust that off. I am gonna, y'all, stand her up so she can dry standing up. Stick her here. Give her all a chance to dry. And then we'll just talk about how we finish her on one of these that's dry, okay? So the only thing left to do, and this is all optional, you can embellish your angel however you want, is I punched a little teeny tiny hole in the wing right here with a hole punch, okay? Punch a teeny tiny hole, and I added a little banner that says Heaven and Nature Sing. These are the little embellishments that I made. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's push her out of the way. Let's bring these up. Y'all, I'm going to move my glue before I glue everything down that's not supposed to be glued down. Let's bring these up a little bit. Put her here. Okay, let's see. Put my glue tool over here. Okay, so I also used, y'all know this is one of my favorite sets. It's the Spellbinders mini Christmas greetings, and it has so many wonderful sayings on it. And the one that I picked for this was Heaven and Nature Sing. So I used that. And I also used the Spellbinders swallowtail tags and cut this out. And I used a very medium-sized one. So I cut that out, run it through the die machine, which gives you this. And I used the margins of the paper from the hymnal, the side, and I ran that through my die machine and cut these. Okay, so you get to there. I used the Heaven and Nature Sing stamp. Okay, and you stamped it on. And I did use the vintage photo for this, but I stamped it once. I inked it, stamped it once, and then actually stamped it onto the flag because I wanted it to be an even softer ink than what one stamp would give me. Okay, so that's that. Then I took the tea dye and I edged it all around the sides. Okay. I used some teeny tiny safety pins and my bells. Okay, so you're going to use your safety pin and you're going to put a bell on, whatever color bell you want first, and then your flag. Okay, and you take and you put them through the hole on your wing. And y'all, can y'all see how sweet that is? It's the little bell and Heaven and Nature Sing. And I really love using the bells on these projects because I always think of It's a Wonderful Life, for every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings. So you have to have the little bell. So that gets you that part. Now this is optional also. I have her holding a little book as if she's singing from a hymnal or from a Christmas carols. And you can see inside it has the little music note pages. And again, that's just scrap pieces from the hymnal. If you don't have an old hymnal, just get, you know, some scrapbook paper with the music notes on it. All I do to make her book is you just cut a piece of cardstock into a rectangle, fold it, you glue in, cut another piece, and you glue in the music part. Okay. And you don't want to glue it down because you want it to look like it's pages. So you just glue it in the center where the binding is. Okay. And that gives you her hymnal. And I just distressed it with a little bit of the tea dye as well around the edges. And I cut a little music note out of some of the scrap paper and glued it onto the front. Okay. Now, the last thing I did is I have this tinsel, and it was originally Fun Stamper's Journey, and I just cut two little snippets, two teeny tiny little snippets from it. And I glued a little bit to the edge of each wing. And my main reason for doing that is I wanted to cover the hole on this side where I put the flag through. Okay. And as you can see on the little flags where it says Heaven and Nature Sings, I also put Mod Podge on it and put the glitter on it also. So it has the same little sparkle to it. Okay. So the last thing, let's see where I put it. I just took a piece of white ribbon and I tied a knot in a loop. And usually I hot glued this part too. And I hot glued it on the back, right below the wings. So if you don't want a hanger and you just want it to hang down, you can leave this, and you want to use her as just a tabletop decoration or as a tree topper, you don't have to do this step. But I usually put this step on so you can use her as an ornament or a tabletop. And I hot glued that. So you just hot glue this on the back, and that gives you your ornament hanger part. Okay? Look at that, y'all. So it's not sweet. This just reminds me of what I imagine the 1950s and 1960s angels and Christmas decorations look like. So they were made out of the most sweet faces, and they had glitter and just such charm to them. And these just speak to me. I love making these. They're addictive because there's not a wrong way to make them. And you can use up all kinds of little pieces of ribbons and embellishments. And that's it, y'all. That is all that goes into making her. Look at that, y'all. Look how sweet that is. And she will be so sparkly when she dries. So those are the angels. And thank you. And I'll see y'all soon.